Hello, I'm Eagle Gardens 1 on Instagram, and this is fucking talking shit with Eagle, episode 821. Hopefully, you guys have had a great day. I've had a pretty good day myself, and hopefully, a great night. I have Sweet Spirit 111 for us tonight. You want to tell us how you're doing and where they can find you?
Yeah, I'm doing good. You can find me on Instagram as sweet spirit underscore 111.
Right on. So, what are you smoking on this evening?
I'm smoking on some trop juice, and then I have some meat breath on the side ready to roll up.
Right on. Right on. Both sound very good for an evening of good conversation.
Absolutely.
Right on.
Then I got my nectar collector and I got some dabs. I got some gelati that I got from AB Seeds and some Hypno Peels diamonds from my work.
Nice. Nice. Well, I'm
Always.
so I'll be puffing on a little bit of dabbables. I don't know what the hell it is. It's still from
Gems and genetics.
there you go. Yeah.
Yep, I remember trusting this is test number 8. This is this and this is that. And I'm like, ooh, okay.
Unfortunately, I'm not a huge dabber, so I still have a few left. Samples left. I'm working my way through, so I'll be puffing on that and maybe a joint here or there. If we go that far.
Oh yeah.
So I guess we should start this out in an appropriate place. When was that special moment that cannabis came into your life? When was the first time either you got high or you seen the plant for the first time?
Well, the first time I got high, I was 16, but I knew about the plant before that because I knew my mom smoked. They always tried to hide it, but there was the smell. And I was like, what is that smell? It smells like a skunk. My friend's like, you don't know what they're doing. I'm like, no. She's like, they're getting high. She's like, you've never smoked before? I'm like, no. So, it brought me to that moment where, I took my aluminum foil and made a bowl. Them giant pencils, them old giant pencils. I wrapped the aluminum foil around the pencil and I made my own bowl.
Yeah, I
That
do remember
was,
those big old fucking pencils
it
there.
was
That's
like
a that's a big that's a
93, maybe. It's been a long time. I've been smoking weed for like 30 years.
right on. So, can we put you down under the category of I did get high the first time?
You know, I would say yes.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I got pretty wasted.
So, were you before? So, you kind of you say around a little bit, but they made you go out of the room. I think that's where my parents were too.
Yeah, they hit it. They didn't want me to know what it was or get involved in it, but I was always curious.
So I always ask because you obviously have the people that do and the people that don't. I always kind of think that, or I found so far in my little observation, like those of us that did get high the first time had a little pre conditioning with cannabis. So even though we may have not smoked it and the parents rushed us out of the house, maybe, just maybe, we got a little bit of a contact or something that kind of wore down that barrier.
You know, the first time I actually smoked weed with my mom, I was 19, and she was shocked that I didn't start smoking sooner. And I said, why, mom? And she giggled. And I don't know why she thought it was a good idea, but she blew pot smoke in my crib as a baby to help calm me down. I said, Mom, and she's like, we didn't know. Like, I never did that with my kids.
No.
No.
So I guess that's a good, we're getting off track already, but
Sorry,
we'll
I
pick.
do that. So
No,
you'll have to keep me on track.
we're on the subject. We might as well roll it. We'll come back. We know where we left off, but how do you feel about, cannabis and like say early motherhood or cannabis and pregnancy, that stuff these days now, looking back, kids are older, you know what I mean? How
Yeah.
do you have a changed opinion nowadays since the kids are old? I mean, if you could do it again, or if you had to do it again,
Yeah.
would it sway you? Would you quit?
I did quit when I was pregnant. I did. I didn't completely stop. There would be times where once in a while I would just take one hit. And my doctor actually told me that the stress from quitting completely could be more harmful to the baby than the actual cannabis.
Right on.
Yeah, and I mean, my son graduated at 17 during COVID online, second in somebody else's class. So, I mean, I honestly don't think it hurt, but I think it's a case by case basis. I don't think everybody should do that. I don't think it's right for everybody. But for me, um, I don't know if I would do it again, faced with it again.
Well, I appreciate the honesty there, but
Yeah.
I'm right there with you. Recently, I had a daughter that had her. I got to see my grandbaby today.
Aw.
So excited, made me definitely warm my heart.
Yeah,
Got,
it does.
but so we had to walk that road just like a little over a year ago. She has terrible anxiety. Doctor tried to get her off. She didn't. She was walking that line, and I think at some points, the stress of it, just the thought, you know what I mean, pondering the right, the wrong, all that had more, wear and tear than the actual use or whatever did. And in the end, he was born happy, healthy, fine. And I almost think that their immune systems are better off and stronger than some children.
Well, there's also the part where we all carry an endocannabinoid system in our bodies. If that's in our bodies, that almost seems like we're meant to consume cannabinoids in some form or fashion, because why else would it be there?
Well, that and what I've learned about the cannabinoid system is it's ever changing. So what we may be using cannabis or cannabinoids as a fetus, it may not even be a high thing at that point. It may be a strictly immune booster and stuff like that. And later in life, as we get older, our relationship with cannabinoids change. The
Yeah.
same cannabinoids, our body's like, no, 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 no. We're using them like this these days. I think that's some of that reason why, as we get older, it's harder and harder for us to get back to that laughy high as teenagers. I think you know what I mean. Our bodies at that point are just like, yeah, have fun with it. We don't
That's
have
why I
really
take tolerance breaks.
right. So after your first time there, I mean, where did it go from there? Did it win you over? Were you a casual user? Where did we go from that first time?
I was a casual user. During that whole process, my parents were medicating me. So they started medicating me at like 9 years old. So putting me on antidepressants, God knows what, anxiety medicine, depression. And so cannabis was an escape for me. It was a taste of something different that actually brought me, it was the only thing that brought me peace.
So at that point, were you like noticing, that this could be the medicine other than what you had been offered?
Yeah, honestly, I thought, this is what works for me, but nobody would listen. So I had to keep it hidden. But it was a taste of something that I would find later on in my adult life would help me get off all those medicines that they had put me on.
So, I mean, even at that age, it seemed like that, would be a super tough thing to impose on a child. Because from
Yeah.
what I've seen in a lot of these medicines, it isn't, as instantaneous and as wonderful and as just pull the trigger and done as it may seem on a lot of these commercials. It's more like a
Mhm.
lot of ups and downs, and here, try this level, try that level. And it seems like when you would be imposing that on a young child who's like, don't know what the fuck is going on with their body, and I don't know what the
Yeah,
fuck is going on with their
I'm
thoughts.
still developing, you know?
It would seem like that'd be a hard dial in for, a young developing child.
Yeah. Well, unfortunately, I experienced a lot of trauma as a child, and I'm they diagnosed me emotionally impaired. So they just didn't know what to do with me. And now looking back, I don't blame my parents. However, this is what I'm left with. Western medicine broke me, put me in rehab at 18. And, I got my AA book with a bunch of, drug dealers and drug addicts telling me I'm not a drug addict and a drug dealer because I didn't do this to myself. And cannabis was my way out. And it was really hard as a kid. I remember that first summer, all I did was lay on a couch.
That's tough.
Yeah. Which is why I always taught my son about cannabis so that when or if the time came that he decided he was going to partake or experiment, that he knew the facts. And I never medicated him because I vowed to be that parent that I wish I had. So I chose to make better decisions with my son, and he's the result of that. And I'm really proud of, everything he's been able to accomplish.
Rewind it back. Would you like label yourself like that, these days? I think that we went through such a phase in time where they were just kind of very quick to throw labels and pills at shit.
Oh, yeah.
Were
I
you,
mean,
did you fall into that time span there, and would you
I
feel
did.
it was
I
accurate?
feel like I am a product of big pharma. What they put me through, by the time it was 98, I was 19 years old, and they had put me on over 36 combinations of different medications.
What the fuck?
I went to rehab, and my amphetamine level was 16,000. I only weighed 100 pounds. They were surprised that I didn't have a heart attack. My blood pressure was 155 over 88, and my pulse was like 140. Like, I remember all these little things because it was such a defining moment in my life. And it's why I hate pills now. And I consume cannabis in such a way that people are like, how are you walking? And they don't understand that I have to use it to manage my pain and, you know, different things that I cope with.
You know, it blows me away now that I've learned a little bit about, like, say, amphetamines and stuff like that, that it was ever used for mental problems, mental disorders, and stuff like that. You know, from what I've read and heard lately, you know, what it does to the dopamine system really, like, is counterproductive. You know what I mean? It just them shots. It's no more comparable of what you get in your everyday life, which
Yeah.
actually leads to a deeper and deeper depression.
Yep.
Then the damage done from the amphetamines takes years to rebuild and learn how to
You
re.
know, it's scary. You know, I had the last medicine they put me on was Dexedrine. That is, you just, it's speed. It's a pill form of speed. It's no different. It's sad. And they're still prescribing it. They prescribed it to housewives in the 70s. You know, I've done research on it. You know, people took this medicine and 10 years later, they dropped out of a brain aneurysm. So I just hope that the cannabis and the mushrooms and the new neural pathways that I trying to continue to build and grow still through the depression, because I still struggle with it, but I know now how better to fight it.
Cheers to you for that. It is can
Thank
be
you.
a struggle, that's for sure.
So I gotta be the change I want to see in the world, and that's my journey. That is my life every day.
So, when did like cannabis start kind of taking the forefront there? I mean, when did it?
2017 June, when I got I got in trouble. My roommate, they had I gotten hit by a drunk driver, and when was that? I was 26 and I hurt my back, and they had started prescribing pain pills. So I got addicted to these pain pills. What was going to happen? The same thing. So my roommate decided, she was mad, my neighbor, that I wouldn't sell her my Vicodin anymore because I decided I was going to stop. And so she called the police on me for smoking weed in my own house. Well, my son was 16 at the time, and he was there with his girlfriend. Okay. Who did they send over to the house? Oh, the high school cop, his school cop. So I ended up being on probation for 9 months, dropping dirty, serving 4 days in jail, and then getting my CPL revoked, all because I didn't have a piece of plastic that said I am a medical patient. We live in a sad world.
Well, not just because of, you know, that's a twofer right there. Yeah,
That's a twofer. It is. It is. I helped this girl get a place to live, and she thanked me with that. Like, and I'm still going to be that person who helps other people, because she's not going to change who I am.
that's awesome on it. So,
But
yeah,
damn, that was the worst 9 months of my life. I was miserable.
I can only imagine.
Oh,
I can only imagine. I mean, just from just trying to get off the Vicodin alone, the problem on top of that.
oh yeah, I detoxed, damn near died. I mean, but I'm still here. I don't take pain pills anymore. I don't take anxiety meds. I take RSO. I mean, I got my dabs, my salves, my flour. If there's a way I can consume it, I do.
So do you actually kind of, I was talking about this a little bit today, the way we do consume. There's a lot of literature out there to say that the ways that we use cannabis is the worst way we could possibly be using the plant as a medicine. Heating it up, setting it at the fire, So do you do any juicing or any kind of like more towards the whole plant medicine side of things?
You
Eating it.
know, I do it all. I drink the Kool-Aids. I dab, I smoke the flower, eat the edibles. I prefer the rosin edibles, but yeah, I got my CBD rubs. I have my medicated rubs. I have my RSO rubs. My roommate said, I've never seen anybody consume cannabis like you, ever. Like, I get that a lot.
Nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong
No.
at all. We should all have a nice little medicine cabinet of tinctures, RSOs, and stuff like that. That's for sure.
Yeah, my sister makes, she does a lot of apothecary. So she made me a mullein tincture. So the mullein plant is like, it's an exporant. It expels, kind of like Mucinex.
Hmm.
So when I get sick, instead of going to take Mucinex, I just fill up a little capsule of that mullein tincture, and I'll take 2 of those a day. And before a couple hours, I'll start hacking up. It clears my lungs. So she's got a oil of oregano, just these different little things that help me with inflammation or, because I have COPD. So I quit smoking cigarettes 3 years ago. I also smoked cigarettes for just as long as I smoked cannabis, but I quit so I could keep smoking cannabis.
Damn, what do you got on that thing? I've seen
It's
the big old oil slick or whatever the fuck that is.
so this is them little jeeters you can get.
Yeah.
So I make my own, and I call them heaters because I'm Heidi. So I use my reclaim from my nectar collector, and I line it. I get it hot, and then I got my little keef jar, and I line it with keef, and then I let it dry.
There you go. Oh yeah.
My friends are like, "What is that?" Like, it's weed.
What's the flower? Is that we still on the first flower or we moved into the meat breath there?
Yes, this is meat broth.
So is there certain strains that work best for let's start with the anxiety.
Platinum cake from AB Seeds is like my go-to. It relaxes me. It's really pleasant to smoke. It gives me a really good high, and I can still function.
What's your pain strain?
Ooh, Ghost OG from Smiley, but I haven't gotten that in a while. But that's my favorite.
Right on, right on.
Yeah. Yep. He passed me a joint of that at Gems and Genetics and was like, "What's this?" I was like, "There's no name on it." He's like, "You can't cheat." I'm like, "All right, Ghost OG." He goes, "Yep." I'm like, "I know my favorite."
He's got a lot of fire strains, and
Oh
that's
man.
much respect for Mr. Smiley.
Absolutely.
I say that quite a bit. Out of a lot of people that I've met in my cannabis,
Hmm.
Mr. Smiley has been one of the best people I've came across.
Yeah. Yeah, he's one of my best friends too. I mean, he's one of the most stand-up people I know. And I could say that for most of my friends. I keep my circle small and close, so there's not a whole lot of drama in it.
There is nothing wrong with that plan, that's for
I
sure.
mean, I like people, but at the same time, you just got to vibe with the people you connect with.
I agree. I agree. So I guess when in 2017, when it became a medicine, what was the ones that initially, made the switch? How'd you make the switch from the pharmaceutical to the cannabis? What was, you know,
Well, I got on Instagram, and while I was on probation and I couldn't smoke, I tortured myself with weed porn. And then I started connecting with people. I started connecting with people from the community and started learning things. I had a few people send me some care packages. I got to try out a few things. And then I found this whole world of cannabis through Instagram. And I built this, you know, we all built this community, but I built a safe space for me to express myself and like come out as a cannabis user, so to speak, not really caring what other people thought or how they felt about what I was doing, because it's not about them.
why is the coming out so difficult for a lot of people?
Because everybody is so judgmental, and there's such a stigma around cannabis still, because it's still federally scheduled drug. And it bothers me so much.
I struggled with that too, even as a caregiver. I had trouble with a lot of people that I dealt with, even close friends, family, to, look at them in the eye and go, well, yeah, I put down the nail bags. Full time caregiver now, trying to pursue my heart and do the right thing. And,
Mhm.
you know, didn't work out. You know what I mean? It was always still holding the head down, even though I knew I was doing the right thing. It made me feel, right. I knew I was right, walking the right path, but yet still had a hard time looking at people and going, yeah, this is my journey.
Mm-hmm. And most of it comes from them not understanding, or just it's it used to be medicine. They buried it for thousands of years.
So let's have that conversation because they're still trying to bury it.
I know.
We had a point in time where we were making some serious headway, and then all of a sudden they started trickling in the recreational side of things, or calling it recreational, letting the masses smoke and everybody just. But we're losing the fight. It's being erased over again. What are your thoughts on that? I mean, are you seeing it as well?
Yeah. I really think since Roe versus Wade and all of these things are happening in the Supreme Court, I almost wonder if they're going to, like, the prohibition, and they're going to outlaw it again.
I I do. Well, as far as medicine, at some point, I think that the they noticed we were making too big of a splash as a medicine,
Yes.
and big pharma got terrified.
Oh,
It's
yeah. We're cutting into their profit because we're not sick.
you know
I have to be on a medicine now that costs $800 a month for the rest of my life because my brain doesn't produce the right amount of serotonin.
That's
They got me. They got me by the balls. So now I have to figure out, how can I get off this medicine? Because I have to be on Medicaid right now in order to afford it.
that is insane.
Hmm. Yeah. I just got lucky. I have a doctor that prescribed 3 months at a time. And, I went to go pick it up and she's like, oh, we're just going to fill it now because we didn't want to open these bottles because this is like $2,000 worth of medicine. I'm like, yeah, I know.
So is that substitute or that reversal, is that a mycology process? Is that, are we now adding or could add cannabis and mycology into them in that repair?
Yeah, I've been microdosing for the last couple of years, more so consistently this year, because I've realized how many benefits I'm gaining through it. Working through traumas, realizing issues in present that I can actually work through instead of just running in circles like I've always done. So it is truly opened my eyes in such a way that I've healed more emotionally in the first 3 months of microdosing than I have in 30 years of Western medicine. It blows my mind.
Western medicine is what's kind of fucking us, though. I
It
mean,
fucked me. It did. It fucked my whole life up. And then when I got out, at 19 years old, my teeth started cracking off. So I went through, like, all my teeth got worked on. And then at 26 years old, I had to get dentures.
that there's so many side effects from these drugs.
It destroyed my body and my mind. All because my parents didn't know how to handle me when really all I needed was some attention and love.
So, I mean, even at that, I mean, was there ever a second opinion? You know what I mean? Was it a one label wham? Fucking now you're like fucking stuck
They
with.
Yeah, they put me through 3 months of testing and then they sent me to a shrink. And this one shrink who's still in business in Grand Rapids, Michigan. I don't know if I can get in trouble by saying his name, but I know exactly who he is. And
Well,
there's nothing I can do about it.
when it comes down, especially a fucking child, we're talking about you and your a very young age. It just seems like that shouldn't be, we wouldn't put our kids' future in, the hands of a judge and jury. So, why would we put their health and something like this into one basket here? That's
Yeah. Nope, you're depressed, you're emotionally impaired, you're this, you're that, and you're OCD. And now I have PTSD from all of that shit.
I don't think, the medical system these days, in my opinion, is fucked. I mean, completely fucked. I
It
trust
is.
them to, like, if I like cut my leg off or I fucking something needs to be, fucking surgically. Now, surgically, I think we've came a long way and they know what the fuck they're doing.
Yeah.
Physically, chemically, because they keep fucking shoving shit in our, they don't know what the fuck they're doing because they've got us so fucked up and they keep adding chemicals and they don't
The
buy.
only thing they know is it makes money and they like money. And that's it. They're greedy.
I can relate to your story in a lot of ways. I grew up and the guy that raised me had Tourette's. And, so when we were growing up, we were used to him hollering out obscenities, which as kids we giggled. His buddies, good friends, took it all in stride. Nobody was ashamed of him, what his condition. But because of peer pressure, whatever, maybe embarrassment of being doing that around his children or whatever, seeked medical attention at that point and ended up with a lifetime of nerve medication, which I watched that man through from the time I was young to the time he passed, wear down as a person to the point when he died, he was just a shell of the person that I had grown up
Mm.
from the and then what most people don't realize are we are very much a living organism, and if we stop doing something or we replace something with something else, our body just says, fuck it, you do it. And a lot of times when we put these medications in our body for long periods of times, our bodies just go, fuck it, you do it. We'll stop producing the right chemicals and stuff like that. And it's a tough rebuild. So I
Yeah.
can very much understand what you're telling me. And it's sad that, we've been so tuned out to natural herbal remedies, plant remedies, that we've been locked into this pharmaceutical bullshit, this money system that people like my dad, yourself, have lifelong penalties from their damage when a microdose maybe at that point could have, rewired or done things that you're trying to do now. You know what I mean? It's sad that, there isn't more care, second opinions, even reevaluations. I think that, even we should be like we look at our plants as being deficient of this or that. That's the way they should look at us right out the bat. What are you deficient of? Here, take that. Come back when that's fucking working and we'll reevaluate you then. How you feeling? But that doesn't happen. It's take this. Take
Yes, take this. No. Yeah. Take this, take that. It's really hard.
that. It's super.
It's discouraging and it causes a lot of problems. I had told my friend a couple years ago, I said, you know what? They should have just given me mushrooms. She said, Heidi, they couldn't do that. I said, well, why not? Said they shoved narcotics down my throat, and that was okay. I'm serious. And nobody would take me serious. And they just don't understand. It's a lack of knowledge.
Making small steps now, but it's sad the steps that we're taking or we're making. If we make them too quickly and we make too big of a footprint, they're trying to race them right behind us just so they can
Yeah.
keep pushing those poisons. I seen another friend of mine just recently, older gentleman, recently prescribed with, borderline diabetes. He came home with a fucking sack of medicine, not just one prescription, a sack.
Yeah.
And he's like, I like look, and I'm like, what the fuck is all that? You know what I mean? Then shouldn't your doctor have like gave you like one of these and seen how it went, interacted and because there's gonna be side effects from all these, and how if with a fucking buckshot like this, how the fuck are you supposed to know what's causing what? I mean, you from now on, you're on a fucking prescription roller coaster until
Yeah,
they,
you're done. And you're about to get 20 more conditions from the side effects of those other medications.
yeah.
Like, let's make an issue a compound issue.
So, thankfully are coming and telling your story tonight, but
Yeah.
I mean, in everyday life, are you, able to get some of the message across to other people? I know people don't, and again, it kind of falls on deaf ears sometimes.
Yeah.
They don't want to hear it, but are you having any luck?
I am here and there. I recently started at Green Co Ventures in January. So not only in my personal life do I consume cannabis, but I work at a cannabis processing facility. They also have a legal 10,000 outdoor plant grow. And that for me, getting a job in the cannabis industry was so relieving for me. It is, I don't get up every day and dread work. I enjoy it. I love what I do. I mean, I don't make a whole lot of money, but I also don't have a vehicle right now. So I'm totally reliant on other people's um dependence, you know? So I'm able to get rides to and from work. I'm able to give them gas money. And so it's working out for me. But, you know, when I tell my story, I get, like similar response like I got from you. People, it's discouraging, but there's almost nothing we can do about it except educate people, give them the knowledge that we have so they can take it and inform others. Because it's going to be word of mouth that we get this out, because like you said, they're censoring everything.
They are. So, I mean, as we go through these events, these dispensaries and everything, again, we don't hear a lot anymore about the medicine. We hear a lot of fucking, but we don't,
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, so how do we, any
How
suggestions?
do we get the stories out that where cannabis changed people's lives? I would love to see more of that, because that's where it gets me in the heart. Like it's all about the heart for me. Cannabis, if it weren't for cannabis, I wouldn't be here. Like, it did save my life, and I'm thankful for that.
It would a lot of many others too if they'd be more open to it. Do you grow cannabis?
I do not grow cannabis. I'm getting there. I'm thinking about getting a tent. I got people that'll give me lights and things like that. And I'm like, I know I can get seeds from Smiley. So, I mean, why not? I have to get myself in a better position, um, emotionally and mentally first, and then we'll get there. But not yet.
No, let me ask you honestly, and again, at any point, you say fuck off.
Okay.
I ain't gotta, you know. But why do you say you need to be more mentally, or ready?
I'm struggling. I'm struggling right now.
I
You
can.
know, last year, August 1st, a year ago today, I got T-boned by an 80-year-old lady.
Oof.
She destroyed my car. It was not my fault. I got a lawyer, made an insurance claim. Everything looked okay. I was okay. I had some bruising, some leg bruising that I had scars from, but I'm okay. I walked away from it. Nobody was seriously injured. But then my insurance company sent me a letter and said I was 3 days late on my payment and I wasn't covered. So no claim, no car. I'd just gotten a job at the Meds Cafe.
Wait a
I
minute.
was on my way back from an interview. So no job, no car, no nothing.
I thought there's supposed to be a 30-day grace period on
No, not when you get in a car accident, apparently.
just on.
It's Michigan law. I had missed my payment, so by law, I could not sue because of Michigan law.
Hmm.
which put me in the position I'm in now. But I am working for a cannabis company. I got that much. But I need a car, and I've saved a little bit of money now. So I'm trying to find a car. Once I find a car, I can find a better place to live. I live in a little bit of a toxic environment, and that is making me struggle mentally and emotionally, feeling trapped. So I got to move some things around before I can commit to anything.
Right on.
Yeah,
Thank you for the honesty.
you're welcome.
One of the reasons why I asked that question is because, again, a lot of times I think, and I know, again, a lot of literature and just personal experiences that cannabis is very healing and it is a very powerful medicine. And I think a lot of times we use it wrong. It does offer more. And when it comes to um, mental anguish, anxiety, I really find that the cultivation side of the plant, growing the plant, is every bit as powerful as the medicine itself. Especially somebody yourself that says, I've heard you say yourself, you use it in every fucking way imaginable.
That's the only way I don't use I don't grow it.
I'm telling you, when the time comes, you'll recall these words, you'll see, that just that time period, even if it being a few minutes of the day where you've just popped in, lifted the pot, and checked to see if she's watered or whatever.
Well, see, this is the part where working at the cannabis farm, I get to dabble in that
Okay.
because there's a 10,000 plants outside the barn.
Nice.
It's beautiful. It smells great. I get to jar dabs all day and pack pre-rolls and just sticker shit and smell weed all day.
There you go.
It's so great. This brings happiness to my soul.
So you do know somewhat what I'm talking about.
Yes. So this is where I'm like, okay, maybe I do want to start growing.
And it does too. It is, even being around it like you are, it is, that is a lot of what I'm saying. But again, when it comes to it is your medicine and stuff like that, at the end of the day, when you smoke that joint and you're enjoying your medicine that you grew, it's super empowering and that I did, at the end of the day. And so there is a little bit more to it, but I'm glad that it's enticing you more and more to
It is. It definitely is.
that side of the medicine for sure.
Yeah. I mean, I have my medical card. I mean, nothing's really stopping me. I need a new caregiver. I really do. So,
Should be you.
oh, damn.
So again, back to the strains and stuff like that. I mean, what have been some of your favorites? What is your like favorite terp profile? Are you fruits, pines,
um,
I mean, there's a lot.
I'm with Smiley's fiance on the rascal berries.
Ooh, that's good stuff.
That's some of the most unique terps I've smoked. It's got that fruity flavor, it's got the gas, it smells good, it tastes good, it's really pleasant to smoke. I mean, I feel like it's a hybrid. Doesn't get me too high where I can't function. It's not like lock me in the couch, but um I really like the rascal berries and Ghost OG for my indica. Those are two of my favorites. But I also like Jilly Bean, which is a sativa. I like the fruity, gassy. Skunk is really hard for me to find,
Yeah.
but I like skunk strain.
Yeah, I think we all urine that skunk for some reason.
I feel like the first like weed I smoked was skunk, and it just smelled so good. And I'm forever chasing that.
Excuse
Bless
me.
you. Bless you.
I think we all kind of taste that. I definitely remember a few. Mine wasn't as skunky as the pine that I remember at that point, but that super laughy weed. Yeah. Who wouldn't want to just waste their time with a good belly laugh, man?
Oh man. I always say I gotta laugh to keep from crying, so I laugh a lot.
Right on.
Yeah.
Which is, I guess, the most effective way out of all the ways that you smoke. Is it prefer when need be, when the word times are at their worst? Is it best hit with a dab? Is it best hit with a joint, edible?
I would have to go with the dab.
Yeah,
I take like a quarter gram dab, like a 0.25.
that's a that's
A globber.
that's a heavy.
And
Yeah,
bam, dude, I'm done. I'm high. I'm there. I don't have to smoke a whole joint. I am high. I can get higher if I want, or I can just chill. But it gives me what I want right now. And sometimes I need that.
right. On.
I might start getting worked up and I'm like, okay, maybe I need to just take a dab and bring myself down instead of taking a Xanax like people do.
So I guess even that. I mean, oh, that's a lot to me. That's a lot. I mean, is that straight when you're dabbing? Are you straight banger action? Big
Yes.
fucking
It's I got a 14 mil banger. I got my rig,
right on, right on.
and then have my banger with my nectar collector, and I'll take my reclaim, and that's what I put on that joint because I don't like to waste anything.
Nothing wrong with that.
So yeah, so use it all.
Yeah, I don't have the lungs for the rigs. It took me fucking ever, ever.
Oh man, I didn't start dabbing
Find the right
till
size rig that fit me and shit like that. And
yeah.
size matters. I hate to say it when it comes.
When you're dabbing, oh, don't let it fool you. Those little mini rigs,
That's me.
they kick ass just as much as that one right there. Like them little MJ Arsenal rigs, like I break those. I can't have those. I
That's
need
me.
a big, solid, heavy piece that's not going to tip over because I'm clumsy.
So, what do you think the difference is between and because I'm the small rig guy, man.
I like the smaller rigs for better flavor. Like
Yeah,
they're designed for airflow and terp profiles. So you can taste what you're dabbing on.
yeah.
So I do like the smaller rigs, but this was a gift. Like a random person on Instagram messaged me and was like, I hope you're having a great day. I just want to let you know I think you have a great profile. I think you're a gorgeous girl. I just want to do nothing but make your day good and offer you a free rig. I was like, okay. Sent me a custom rig. He's a glass blower from Utah.
Yep.
Yeah. Things like that don't happen to me, but they did. So that was pretty cool,
Right on.
and it wasn't creepy or anything like that. It was just somebody being nice. Like good people do exist. They're few and far between, but they're there.
They are. They are. The ones that out there, it seems like they do give me hope. It seems like you encounter the good ones when you need to encounter the good ones.
Yes.
To
Yeah.
keep giving you that little bit of ounce of hope.
Yeah. I was just saying to my friend the other day, I feel like I lost all my hope. Like, but it's there. I just can't see it.
Don't lose hope.
Nope. I'm gonna get this car from somewhere. I don't know where. But I get
Have you
it.
tried the manifestation thing? Have you picked out the car? Have you had to like even like a like
No.
board and everything?
No, maybe I should do that. Like a vision board.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. A couple of my girlfriends do that. Maybe,
They
maybe
say
I should.
very helpful as far as like the manifestation things go.
Okay. I'm willing to try that out.
Never know. Never
Yeah.
know. So, do you ever see yourself? Where do you see yourself going in cannabis? Is it? Do you see yourself as an advocate? Do you see yourself as a personal user? Do you grower? Where do you see yourself going from here?
I would like to be an advocate. I view myself as an advocate because of my story and what I went through and how I use cannabis and talk about cannabis and live my life with cannabis. Like it revolves around it to the point where some people like are a little concerned, but that's that's their battle, not mine.
Right, right.
And I would like to grow. Hopefully, I would like to see in the next year at least me have a little tent where I'm growing a few plants at a time.
So, I guess you kind of like going real, further back to the beginning there,
Okay.
in between, uh, having to deal with the pharmaceuticals and your first interactions with cannabis. Were you drawn to, because you said by 18 you were already in rehab and stuff like that, and if I remember right, it was like 19 that cannabis kind of came full circle back into your life. So was it the other medicines that you were taking, that kind of made you try, or how did the other shit get in there? Was it just influence?
No, it was an alternative.
Right.
It was who I was hanging out with. I knew my mom smoked. I finally smoked with her. If my mom smokes, it must be okay, you know. And at that time, I think I was just kind of young and naive, and I didn't really know what I was doing, but I knew that cannabis helped me.
Right on.
Yeah.
So I guess, what other do you mind saying? What were some of the other things? That led up to the rehab. Cannabis did take. I might not have been the could have been the vehicle for rehab, I guess, back then. But
No, but when I was in rehab, I remember, you know, them talking about weed as like just something you do in your car. It's not a bad thing. Like, and I wasn't really, I had smoked here and there, but I didn't really know a whole lot about cannabis at that moment. I was, being drugged by the doctors and the pharmaceutical companies. So I didn't really know a whole lot. I was fucked up. But that was it. It made me, what's the word? I was very interested in learning more about it. And I liked how it made me feel as opposed to being drugged my whole life. I finally had something to bring me some kind of relief.
What types of medicines? I mean, you mentioned the one there. But
Yeah,
what other medicines were there?
they put me on Dexedrine, Cylert, Adderall, Ritalin, Wellbutrin, Zoloft, Paxil, Prozac. I mean, I used to have a list.
Wow.
Lots of shit, lots of different combinations. When I had to be on certain medications, some required me to get blood tests every month to make sure my liver was functioning okay.
That should be a red flag. That should be a red flag right there.
You don't think? And I look back on all that like, how was this okay? How is it still okay? It blows my mind.
Yeah, it shouldn't be okay. That sounds
No.
more like an experiment than
I view myself as a guinea pig in those days. Like they just experimented on me. Nobody cared. They just drugged me.
that shit bothers me because fast forward to today, even
They're still doing it
they're even more so. I mean, they literally have a label for
on everything.
everything. They
All the commercials I
disclosure
see
for
are about medications they want to put you on for something.
man, that is sad. That's super sad.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I do have to work in the morning, but I appreciate you having me on.
I appreciate you
Um,
finally coming on
I'm
and
so thankful you give me a platform to tell my story and make me feel comfortable enough that I can tell it.
I'm glad that you did come on because people do need to hear these stories and know that cannabis can be that factor, that vehicle that can help them through these times. And I appreciate you 100% for coming on, telling your story because it ain't easy. It isn't, easy for
Yeah.
people to come on and do this. So I understand that. And I am grateful for those of you that have come on and done this because it is a very powerful medicine and these stories need to be put together.
Yeah. Thank you.
So I think, excuse me, that damn got me.
Take a minute to breathe.
Think you know a little bit about what's coming next here. Two things. A, I need that sound bite. And B, yeah, I need to fucking tell you that that link that I sent you this evening is always good. Feel free to come hang out now in the Weed Nerd world anytime that you want to. No longer do you need an invitation. Now you have earned your stripes. This is a pure whenever you want to. So please take that invitation, come hang out at some point. And
Absolutely.
like I said, the other thing that I need from you this evening before we part is that sound bite. Basically, what I'm looking for, my version thereof, is hey, this is Eagle, and I'm on fucking talking shit with Eagle, episode 821. You can say whatever you want before or after, as long as it sounds something like that. I'd
Yeah.
be more than grateful. I am ready.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Eagle. I'm on fucking talking shit with Eagle. Thank you so much for having me on to tell my story. I appreciate you so much.
What episode we on?
821.
Yes, it is.
I'm a stoner. Sorry. I put it up there though.
Right. Thank you again. Uh, for the rest of you guys, thank you very much for your time. You guys, everybody's time is very valuable. I can't thank you enough for coming and hanging out with me this evening. Don't forget to
Absolutely.
do something nice for somebody. Random acts of kindness do save lives. We all need it at some point or another. And usually when we need it, we don't want to ask. Don't make a mess. help somebody out. Thank you again. Have a wonderful night and
Yeah.
enjoy the day.